She's on drugs or something. No, I'm totally, I just hate you. I hate. Okay, we're calling the cops on you because you're disturbing everyone in here. But the law says I can't kill them. If the law didn't say that I couldn't kill them, they'd all be dead.
Well, here's the thing. White America has been raised to believe, A, the police are always the good guys, and frankly, that black lives matter less than white comfort.
You have this imaginary wall around you. I don't know who damaged you. And me being a black man, I have to suffer for what somebody did to you? That has nothing to do with me. I'm not the enemy. I get that a lot from black women, that we're the enemy, we're liars, cheaters, we're dogs.
As a film director, you want to talk to those who just loving these brothers, these rappers. In fact, rappers such as Rick Ross, rappers such as Lil Wayne, those out there having you falling in love with that nonsense, having fallen in love with thinking that that's reality when they're talking about violence. But they living other than that. See, they walking around with bodyguards and etc. And they got you out here gangbanging, got you out here shooting and killing one another. But listen, all that, the reality of it is when I see you. When I see you, it's over. It's over. Nah, you're dead. You're dead. You're dead. You're dead. You're dead.
Hey, this is Mr Duff coming at you live from the Hustler's Corner, New York City, saying thank you for joining us in this part 6 of our session with James Ellis, a man who has been convicted of a murder he did not commit and is spending life behind bars for it. We talk about just how far-reaching the corruption in the criminal justice system is, and how his case is not the only case like this that is being dealt with, and how so many other inmates are going through the same thing. We also talk about how attorneys have turned him away and his case away when other attorneys have been sought to try to take his case to get him exonerated. We also get some input from Candace Hudson, who actually represents and counsels James. So with that said, we just want to say thank you for joining us. And as always, smash that like button, share, leave a comment, and as always, subscribe. Thank you. Enjoy the show. Thank you for joining us. This is Mr Duff coming at you live from the Hustler's Corner, New York City. Enjoy the show. Welcome to the Hustler's Corner. This is Mr Duff coming at you live. And I'm here with James Ellis and Candace Hudson. And we're talking about the James Ellis case in which he was railroaded into life imprisonment and narrowly escaped a death sentence over a woman who was murdered that he did, a crime of murder that he did not commit. So what I want to start by saying to this time I want to talk to you guys about, I want to talk about the courts, what's happening with the federal level courts, the Supreme Court. You said that the Supreme Court threw your case under the bus and that some other courts took it over, some federal courts took it over because they see what was going on.
When I came out of the first appellate court in Cincinnati, I went into the Ohio Supreme Court, and that's the normal procedure. But I also had what's called a new factual predicate, where the first appellate court basically resentenced me, and because they said that my life imprisonment meant life without the possibility of parole, and they left a footnote in that order telling the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections to hold me until I'm dead. And so that's a new factual predicate. It's a worse than before sentence. So I went into the federal court, and I proposed that to the federal court under a petition of habeas corpus, and I presented a new factual predicate predicate and an actual innocence claim. And so the courts, but I still had to continue with my Ohio Supreme Court stuff. So I informed the federal court that I was in the Ohio Supreme Court, but I asked the federal court to basically take my case from the Ohio Supreme Court because as a tradition, they don't listen to pro se litigants. So they always turn guys down that are fighting their case without a lawyer. And I told them it was a fruitless effort. I will be sitting for 5 or 6 months just waiting on them to come back and shoot my case down. So the federal court read my actual innocence claim, and I guess they felt compelled enough to snatch my case from the Ohio Supreme Court and accept me into the federal court. So then the Ohio Supreme Court came back and moved it on my case, which was basically dismissed everything. So now I'm in the federal court. And the federal court gave an order after they looked at my stuff. They said through their preliminary readings and the evidence attached to my petition that they didn't see no reason why I wasn't entitled to relief from that court, and they gave the Attorney General 60 days to reply. And so the Attorney General, the 60 days came and went. Attorney General came back and said they had a heavy caseload, and they had made a request to the Hamilton County Clerk of Courts and the prosecutor to release all the records from my case, and they didn't do it. So they needed another 60 days. And so those 60 days came and went, and they were just up on the 27th of January. They came back and filed a motion to transfer my case to the Sixth Circuit Court, saying that I needed permission from the Sixth Circuit Court to file a writ of habeas corpus because I had already filed one back in '97, and that's true. I did, and normally you would need permission from the Sixth Circuit Court, the appeals court, but I have an extraordinary remedy, which is an actual innocence claim, and that supersedes any procedural stuff. And so now we at a standstill now with the judge looking at that. But in the process of them filing this motion, they were supposed to file their rebuttal to my writ, but they never done that. And within the 120 days that they taken, they've never once said, no, he's not actually innocent. He's wrong about anything he's saying. They haven't taken a position with any of that this whole time. So now we waiting, and I'm trying to figure out now what move I'm gonna make next.
So either way, they're going to make you wait 6 months each time?
Well, it was 60 days.
I'm sorry, 60 days?
It was 60 days. Well, I mean, I shouldn't have to. The federal judge gave a Rule 4 order to the Attorney General to respond, and they won't do it. They won't respond, and they won't take a position. They basically turned their back. They didn't say, no, this guy is not actually innocent or nothing. They won't respond. They keep trying to duck around taking this in court and defending against the evidence that I've presented to the federal court. And also, they notified me that Candace had called down to the federal courts, and they notified her that they changed the judge on my case that gave me the right favorable ruling. They changed the judge to a judge named McFarland. And so I don't know what that's about, because I never received a motion or order transferring those judges, but they said it happened on January the 3rd. I knew nothing about it, and they said that they was going to send me the motion, but I haven't gotten it.
Candace, what's your take on this?
I think they're trying to buy time. I think they transferred to another judge that would definitely rule in their favor. They really don't know what to do right now, I think, and this is just another tactic to try to sweep everything under the rug and make it go away because they think he's just going to lay down and not do anything.
So it's a battle of wits, so to speak, and just basically doing everything they can to abuse your time and make a mockery of you and abuse your time and make up every excuse imaginable so that they don't have to take on this case and prove your innocence?
Well, nobody ever wants to admit that they've made a mistake.
So that's basically what this is about. They don't want to admit that they've made a mistake.
Correct.
Basically. But they were saying that that they're having a problem collecting the records to my case from the prosecutor, but they're only a street over from the prosecutor's office. The attorney general is on Vine Street, and the prosecutor's office is on Sycamore Street. That's only a street over in downtown Cincinnati. It's a 5-minute walk at best.
So basically what you're saying is they really just don't care.
Well, they don't want to turn over the records to my case because they know that the records they turn over are going to match up with what I presented to the federal courts, and it's going to basically prove my case.
Well, one thing that we also need to keep in mind is that there is a 30-year cold case rate inside his case, and they've never went and looked for the person who committed this rape. So they're looking at this paperwork now, and they're going to have to answer a lot of questions, and this is their way to deflect from what's really happening.
Why do I get the feeling that this is actually a Pandora's box, if I may? Exposing the incompetence of these guys would actually expose something that's even more widespread, if I can put it like that.
Right.
Because why do I get the impression you're not the only one going through something like this down there?
Because I'm not, Mr. Duff. I'm not. I'm running into guys. A lot of these guys, just in this one prison alone, know my fight, and a lot of these guys know what's going on through blog talks and stuff, and they are approaching me, showing me their stuff, and I mean it's unreal. It is unreal that you can find these many guys with these many issues in their cases in just one prison. And Cincinnati and Ohio they have 30-something prisons, and it's just one prison.
You mean there are other guys there with you going through the same thing, going through years of imprisonment for crimes they did not commit?
Absolutely.
Well, no.
And this guy sitting in here, some of the guys, they're not even defending against that. They're just sitting in here they don't even have legitimate sentences. They're not even supposed to be here. And Ohio, the Department of Corrections have a rule. It's under 52 RCP 01 of their ARs. They're not even allowed to accept you. If there's an issue in your journal entry or with any of your paperwork, they're supposed to send you back to the courts for them to correct it. Time and time again, they've accepted these guys in the prison and tried to fix and translate, modify, amend, and correct these guys' sentences on their own. They're not a judge. They can't do that. You can't try to modify a guy's sentence or translate his sentence to be something that you feel is appropriate. You are the Ohio Department of Corrections. You're not a courtroom, and you're not a judge. You can't do it. You don't have that authority.
This is insane.
And this guy been sitting in here 25, 30 years.
Wait a minute. 25, 30 years also for crimes they did not commit?
Absolutely. I just had a friend. He's not fighting his guilt or innocence, but he has a messed up sentence. And he had a life. He had like 20 to life. Well, on his journal entry, it just says life imprisonment. He was supposed to see the parole board this year. They just snatched him in the office and said, we taking your parole date. Your life imprisonment means life without the possibility of parole. And he like, what? That ain't what I was sentenced to. So now they done moved him to a certain area for guys, for the inmates that don't have parole eligibility. And that's not even his sentence.
Holy, So this actually is indicative of a severe problem throughout the entire state of Ohio and probably across the country.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
Well,
I say it all the time. You pay for what you don't know. You know,
yeah.
when you don't know law, when you pay for it.
Yeah.
You know, whether you pay for it, whether you pay for it in consequence or you pay for it financially, you pay for it.
Yeah. This is proof positive of the saying that knowledge is power, and it also says in scriptures that you perish for lack of it. This is exactly the reason why.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
This is insane, bro. This is insane. Ken, is there any way you can introduce me to some of these other gentlemen that we can talk together on their cases as well?
Yes,
Okay.
James can just give me the names. There was a few, there was actually 3 others that were all fighting together there. I don't know if any of them would be interested in talking. James would have to tell you that.
Yeah, I'll speak with them. I'll speak with them and find out.
So
I'm sure.
Would it be?
I'm sure a couple of them would be willing.
So you're basically saying the one thing that you really need is a competent attorney.
Yes, but every attorney that I've tried to contact, Mr. Duff, they don't put the word out to not help me, because every lawyer that I try to contact,
what?
And Candace have even tried to contact certain lawyers, and every time they hear my name, they like, oh no, they back straight up and don't want to have nothing to do with it.
Every time they pull his case, it's the same thing. They're really excited to help, but as soon as they pull his case, they say, we are not equipped to help you at this office.
This concludes this session of the Hustler's Corner, New York City. If you are a person that's incarcerated and you have books that you'd like to get out and you want to share your story, come share your story on the Hustler's Corner, New York City Tales from the Big Cities. If you are a person who has been wrongfully convicted of a crime that you did not commit and you want to share your story, come share your story on the Hustler's Corner, New York City Victims of the System series. If you are a person who has been self-reformed, active in the community, came out of a past nefarious life to a more positive one, and you want to share your story, come share your story on the Hustler's Corner New York City Legends of the Hood series. If you are a Black business owner and you want to share your story of how you got your business off the ground and how you faced many challenges to succeed, come share your story on the Hustler's Corner New York City Black Business Movement series. If you are a musician or an artist or a vocalist or a rap or hip hop artist and you want to share your story about your career and how you have grown it into success, come share your story on the Hustler's Corner New York City On the Grind series. And if you are a woman who has been through traumatic times in her life only to overcome them, come share your story on the Hustler's Corner New York City Lipstick Stories series. And if you're enjoying the show, please help us grow. Show your love. Like, share, leave a comment, and most of all, subscribe. Thank you for joining us. Looking forward to seeing you again. This is Perry L. Duff from the Hustler's Corner, New York City.
Numbers been drawn, and I could never measure up or measure it all. I am but a man with no grace of my own. Look at my hands, I am not scarred for you all. This is why I fall down at the feet of the king. Submission is a mission, I receive it every day. I am but a vessel, he leads me through my faith until the day that I see your face.